Some people walked upright onto their battlefields. I rode. Mine was on a bus. I remember it like it was yesterday. I boarded a bus from Trenton, New Jersey to visit my family in Washington, North Carolina. We call it Little Washington. I was a private in the Women's Army Auxiliary Corps, and I was so proud. I had my uniform freshly pressed. I couldn't wait for my mama to see me. At about midnight, I had fallen asleep. We were in Roanoke Rapids. The driver had wakened me up and told me that I had to give up my seat for a white man. Well, I told him no. He said, "Come again." I said, "No, sir." I don't know what had happened. Something rose up inside me, and I just wasn't going to do it. Well, before I know it, the whole bus was empty. I sat there by myself in the dark. All I could think about was Private Booker T. Spicely. He had a similar situation to mine. But back in 1944, in August, he was shot and killed by a bus driver in Durham, North Carolina. Apparently, Booker, with his uniform on that he wore to serve his nation, was told to move to the back of the bus for white passengers. Well, Booker told the driver that he didn't like that, and he told him what he thought of the driver. Booker was from Philadelphia. Well, when Booker got off that bus, the driver followed him, shot him point blank in the chest. When they took him to a local hospital, he was still alive, but they wouldn't see him because it was for whites only. By the time they got Booker T. Spicely to a hospital that would see him, he had bled out in the uniform he wore to serve his nation. All I could think about was, what if that happened to me? Before I knew it, 2 police officers grabbed me by each arm. They took me downtown and booked me. I stood all night in a filthy jail cell in my heels, praying that I would survive this. In the morning, they released me with a $25 bail. I didn't know what to do. But after a while, I decided to press charges and to make a complaint with the help of Women's Army Auxiliary veteran, Dovie Roundtree. Sarah's case was not an unusual one. Unfortunately, I'd heard more stories like hers than I'd cared to remember. When I got out of the Army, I went to Howard University, went to law school with the GI Bill. But all the while, I never forgot the young soldier that I was back in 1943, when I was forced to give up my seat on a bus in Miami, Florida, to a white man. Sarah's case was a chance for us to make things right, for all of us who had served and suffered, only to be abused and misused by the very nation that we loved. Well, we won the case. We took our case to the Interstate Commerce Commission, and 3 years later, they made an agreement that all interstate travel should be integrated. It led to the famous 1961 Freedom Riders. And just 6 days after our decision, on November 25th, 1955, a young lady named Rosa Parks was arrested for refusing to give up her seat on a bus there in Montgomery, Alabama. Well, we all know Rosa Parks, but now you know Sarah Keys.